Hello and how's it going? My name is Cody, and today we're going to be looking at my newest project I've been working on. But before we get to that, I would like to quickly say that I've deleted all of my, not deleted, I set them all to private, all my previous videos, because of how cringy they were. But let's get to the mod I've been working on. So it's called World Viewer, and it is for Minecraft 1.15.2, and I really like this idea that I've come up for this mod. It's a lot different than any of my previous projects. There will be a link in the description where you can find it, but the premise of it is that you're going to be exploring several dimensions. Now, as of now, the mod is still in a very early stage, and currently it only has 2 dimensions, and those aren't quite finished. I'm still working on those right now, actually. The next update for this mod is in the works. So I'm going to refer to this version as 0.1 alpha. Yeah, okay. So the mod really starts with this ore right here. This is void ore, right? So before I explain what you do with that, I'm also going to go over a couple other ores. So this is fossilized bottle of enchanting. It just gives you a bottle of enchanting when you mine it. I just thought it'd be fun to add that. This is magic powder ore, and that's found in one of the new dimensions, and we'll go over what that does later. For right now, void ore. What does void ore do? Well, when you mine it, you get void shards, right? And this is meant to be kind of a step up from diamond. So you can make a void block, how you'd expect for that to be. You can convert that back into shards. So then you can make tools and armor, and these are just a step up from diamond, right? But that's not the only thing. They are used in other essential recipes for this mod as well. The magic powder, you get this from the magic powder ore, and it also has a storage block. Oh, and that ore makes sounds when you get close to it. And then, anyways, you can make magic powder block. All 3 of these blocks in this row can be used as a beacon base, and these items can be used as payment in the beacon. But you can make magic bricks using the magic blocks. And these are just decoration, building blocks. These don't make sound. I also added dark nether brick, and that'll be found in another dimension, but the recipe for it is just coal and nether brick. So it's darker than normal. I also added a glass made from soul sand, and you can get that from smelting soul sand. But those are the blocks that can be made from these items. What is this used for? What are the void shards used for? Well, it is used not only to make the tools and armor, it is used to make an item called a void cake, and that is a food item. We'll look into that in a second. It can also be used to make the 2 items required to go to these dimensions, right? We'll look into that in a second. But that's pretty much all this is used for. So then if we go over here, these are charms. In order to make a charm, you need a charm frame, which is a magic powder, and some iron. Now each of these charms give you certain effects, like charm of clearing will clear any potion effect you have on you, whereas the charm of night sight gives you night vision, and the time depends on what charm you're using, and they all have different recipes. So the charm of clearing I can just do it here. Charm of Clearing, Charm of Night Sight, Charm of Invisibility, that's a Charm of Night Sight right there, Charm of Leaping, Charm of the Flame, Charm of Swiftness, see, Instant Healing, Regeneration, the Fighter, which is, strength, Looting, which gives you luck, and Feathers, which is feather falling. Or slow falling, I mean. So, we'll actually go over that last. Oh, these are conductors. So, this is the basic conductor, and the recipe for it is, some iron, quartz, redstone. And when you click on it, it spawns in a lightning bolt. But you can actually upgrade this to change the weather. I'm not going to mess with them because I don't want the artifacting caused by rain. But this one clears the weather. This one makes it rain. This one, a thunderstorm happen. So I've also added a couple food items. So first things first is a void cake, crafted as so. And when you eat it, let me eat it. It gives you slow falling for just like 30 seconds or so, I think it is. No, it's a full minute. So that's why it's used in the slow falling ring recipe, or the charm recipe, I mean. The next one is zombie jerky. And basically I was thinking about, well, what is a useless item in Minecraft, or like a food item that is pretty useless, and how can I make that better? Rotten flesh. So if you cook rotten flesh, you get zombie jerky, and it's a little more filling, and it doesn't give you hunger, so it's better. I also added trail mix, which its recipe is any 4 seeds, but it and what it does is when you eat it, it doesn't fill you up a whole lot, but it gives you haste for 30 seconds. So it's pretty nice. And on the theme of rotten flesh being useless, I added in an item called a sheet of rotten flesh, and its recipe is 2 rotten flesh. This item alone is pretty useless, but what happens is if you cook it, you get leather. So, and the reason why I added this, more or less, is because there's a mod, I don't remember which one, that lets you cook rotten flesh to get leather. But because that recipe's already taken by the zombie jerky, I didn't want to cut out, that completely if someone wanted to have that. So I implemented it a little differently. Now, stairs and fences and pressure plates, as well as buttons, can be made from a couple of these blocks. The bricks, the dark nether brick, and the glass. I feel like I should also note that there are custom structures in this mod, but I will not be going over them in this video. They're out there for you to explore. This version of the mod doesn't add any to the overworld, but the next update will. Right now, the custom structures are found within the dimensions. So first things first, that's the wrong one. So let's get on to the dimensions. So you are going to need what is known as a world viewer key. So the cavern world viewer key, which is probably the first dimension you're going to visit, actually it has to be because the ingredients for the next dimension are found here. It's 2 void shards, gold, an emerald, and some cobblestone. So in this version mod, there is no portal yet. I plan to add that, but haven't gotten around to it. So for right now, this is how you do it. When I right click with this, it will transport me to the new dimension. Wherever I'm standing when I right click is going to affect where I spawn in the new dimension. So it is possible to spawn in a wall, and if that happens, We'll just make sure you have a pickaxe on you and you should be okay. So, without further ado, the cavern. So there are 3 biomes in the cavern. I'm gonna give myself night vision. So there are 3 biomes in the cavern. Okay, so this biome that we spawn in here is, I believe, the ice cavern, and it's got darker water. There's some custom structures that spawn here. It's icy. So that's about it. I mean, it's a good place to get packed ice, I guess. We have the clay cavern, which normally runs in a small, thin ribbon kind of between the 2 other biomes. And it's got a custom structure that spawns in it. Right now there's only 1. But, you know, it's a good place to get clay. The actual bottom here, the floor, is clay as well. So there's that. And then this is the cavern biome. So there's the ice cavern, clay cavern, and then the cavern. And this is kind of more grassy, maybe a little warmer, I guess. And fish will spawn in the water below as well as drown. But apart from that, I mean, it's got some structures that won't spawn in the other 2. But it's pretty much the same as the other 2 biomes, just the difference being the materials that can be found in it. And this is a good place for mining, as all the ore that spawns in the overworld will spawn here, as well as emeralds. Doesn't matter what biome. I mean, they're set to spawn in this dimension. So what is interesting is that the magic powder ore spawns up towards the top of the cavern, as opposed to deep underground. Or, I mean, the whole cavern's underground, but you get the point. It spawns towards the top. So if we look along the ceiling, there's the ore. Now, to get out of the dimension, all you have to do is click again with the World Viewer key. So that will take you back. Now let's move on to the flame dimension. So the recipe for this requires magic powder, a wither skull, and nether brick, as well as the void shards. Now this dimension is kind of like the nether. In the next update I'm working on, I'm gonna make it more unique than the nether. I'm gonna add some stuff to it. But for right now, this is what it looks like. And go in. So it does have a day-night cycle. You can sleep here and set your spawn. However, it will not change the time in the dimension. So there are 3 biomes here as well. There is the flame, which is the main portion of it, with all the trees and the soul sand. And then we have the lower flame, which is kind of deserty and sandier. Then we have the flame sea, which is a massive ocean-like biome. Nether fortresses will spawn in this dimension as well. There are custom structures that will spawn here as well. I'm adding more in the next update. So for right now, this is what we've got. So what makes this unique so far from the Nether, other than its custom structures, is the fact that overworld ore spawns here. So you can mine here. But I'm still working on some things. It's not really a complete biome. The dark nether brick will spawn in underneath magma. I think that is about it for the mod. It's very much a work in progress. I have a lot I'm adding in the upcoming weeks. The next version is in the works. I'm working on polishing some things and finalizing some features right now before I make that release public. So as of now, this is the mod. but there will be more in the weeks to come. Check the description for a link to get to the page where you find this. And I will see you all next time.